Hey, this is Johnny from Palm Beach Customs, and this video is to go over the paint materials that you're going to be using for a classic car restoration, muscle car, basically any full restoration mode. And most of this stuff actually applies to a full refinish on even the newer model vehicles. A few things will change, but we're talking about classic car restoration, and this is live proof of what it takes for material. I'm going to try to keep this video between 4 and 5 minutes, so bear with me. And I want to also note that my example here is PPG. It's a high quality paint. We've also used DuPont. We've also used DeBeer and Valspar House of Color products. Glazeret. So my main point is there's a good 5 or 6 top lines. It's kind of like comparing Ford, Chevy, and Dodge, and that's not the purpose of the video, but this is it's relevant to show you what it takes to do a job. So let me go over this quick with you. And you're going to see in the post that I wrote, this video will either be in the post or you caught this on Facebook, and you can click the link below the video and read the post, because I actually show the invoice, quite frankly, because everything is going up with like the gas prices. Back in the early 80s and 90s, you could do a job for $1,500 without skimping. Quality material and get the job done. And now the prices has doubled and tripled with the fuel prices. We're in 2015 when I'm shooting this video, so if you're watching this video 10 years from now, I'm sure things are going to change a little bit. But for now, this is where we're at, and I'm going to take you through the process of how people. It's actually, even for myself. I've been doing this for over 32 years now, and to see all the materials out there, and I'm purchasing them daily for the jobs, but to see them all in one pile, it really gives a good visual of what's needed. And I want to point out, so let's start right from the bottom. When you're starting a resto job, you're going to need a high-grade urethane primer. And a lot of times we will we seal these cars with a metal edge, a DP primer. This example here, I've got 1 gallon of primer for these prices. Now I want to make one more little quick note that many times when we're doing jobs, we'll use 3 gallons of primer if it's a huge job and a lot of body work. We'll take 3 gallons of primer, 2 to 3 gallons of base color, and 2 to 3 gallons of clear. This one here, I'm giving you an example of 1 gallon of primer, 1 gallon of base, and 2 gallons of clear. And that's what it takes to do a showroom job. You can't just blast 2 coats of clear on it and ship it, and you're not going to have a showroom job. You got to put your clear down. You got a wet sand in between coats, and then you give it your money coat in the end, and then you go through your final buff. We're going to go through that. So in this example, we've got Deltron PPG's V primer. You can get it in white, black, and buff. But the cool thing about it is if you're painting say a yellow car or a white car, you're going to go with the white primer. And if you're going to go with a darker color, say you're doing jet black, you wouldn't want to use a white primer. So here's your Deltron high-grade, high-build urethane primer. It takes a quart of kicker. So now we go into that. Now I want to show you, because we're showing you where $3,000 gets spent. And to be quite honest, I don't even have all the sandpapers up here. you're going to need a good gallon or two of wax and grease remover to get you through the job. Right here we have a gallon of high grade, very high content, very little. When you mix these, you can buy cheaper paints, but they have more clear in them, so they don't cover as good. So when we mix these tints here, we mix a gallon up. 3/4 of it is high grade tint, and 25% is a clear binder. So right here we have a gallon of Deltron base. This gallon went for $6 and change, $6.80 I think it was. You can look at the post. So when you're I'll back up a little bit. When you're using the primer, you're gonna reduce the primer, not 50-50, but you're gonna use about 2 quarts of reducer for a gallon of primer. With the base, it's 1-to-1, so you're going to use a whole gallon of reducer to a gallon of color. So you're going to need, usually I figure 1, 2, 3 gallons of reducer to get through a full restoration job. What also you don't see here is lacquer thinner. We usually use probably, I usually allow like a 5-gallon bucket of lacquer thinner for cleanup and other things throughout the job. So we've got through the color, and what I do too when I'm mixing a color for a resto job, I'll have them mix a pint, I'll do a spray out, and I'll make sure that the color's right on before we go into spending, $600, $700, $800 on a gallon. We verify before we roll forward. Now, so we went through the primer, we went through the base. Now we're going to go through the clear. Here's a really good clear. Like I say, other brands make awesome clears too, but in this example, here's PPG's 2021. It's a really good high grade, high solids, warrantyable clear. That takes 1 quart of kicker hardener per gallon. So here's 2 gallons right there. I mean, I don't have the invoice right in front of me, but we're racking up the tab right now. Now, also I have on this job here we have 1 quart. This car is going yellow and black that I'm talking about, and we're using, it's like a hot rod black, the flat stripe. So it's like satin. So we're going with a satin black, and we're gonna make a matte clear. So when we shoot the satin black, we use a matte clear over it. That way it cleans easy, and it kind of protects the flat black from getting shiny from when you rub the car out later. All right, so we've pretty much got through the primers, and what I don't have, actually, shoot down here, we have, when we're prepping the car, we're going to go through usually a half a box of 80 and 36 on the big pads, and then we have 180, 220, and like a 320 DA for prepping our body work, and also some block papers. That gets you through into finished paint mode. Now once you're painted, what we do is we take, we cut the car with like 1200, 15, and then 2000 grit to get the ultra fine finish and just flat glass finish. And each box of this stuff is, the wet sandpaper is like $35 a box. You could pretty much figure you're going to go through about $100 worth of wet sandpaper. Some of these sheets are $5, $6 a sheet too when they get finer. The finer the grit, the more expensive. And I keep them in a tote down here. I keep them in Ziplocs. There's 1,000 grit, you know what I'm saying? And we have some really cool backing pads that we put on there, and it gives it a sponge effect, so you can actually sand with the real fine pads. Once you get through a full wet sand, okay, you've ate up a lot more consumables. Now it's time to buff the car, and we use, I actually really like this product, and it's called Tri-Cut by Transtar. I'll cut the car down with Tri-Cut or 3M #1, and we'll use a white pad, a white foam pad, which is a heat chemical buff, okay? And it's water-based, and the heat and and the chemical kind of buffs it more than a grit buff like the old days in the wool pads. So you're looking at about, I don't know, let's just say $100 just in buffing pads to do a job. You're going to be going, coarse is white, medium is the black pad, and then we go into a blue final, which is in the 3000 mode. And this stuff here is it's right here. It's an awesome product, you know, ultra fine buff to bring it right up to glass finish. Also, usually on a job, I'll use 2 boxes of black gloves. You'll notice I don't have any Dynaglass or high-grade plastic filler out here. So when you're looking at that $3,000 invoice to do a resto, you almost have to add another nickel, another $500 for your plastic, your Dynaglass, your sandpaper, the coarse grits that are on that invoice that you're viewing. So the incredible thing is, you know, we got a little bit of tape here. This, you know, easily blow through that. And then we have, I have a 36-inch roll of you know, high-grade paper for doing the job, for taping off and stuff. So that's my grand tour on what it really takes for material to do one of these jobs. And if it's a bigger job, you can go into it a little bit deeper and run it up to about $4 grand in materials only, not counting labor. And this is, I hope you enjoyed this example, because you know, it always overwhelms me. So I said, you know what? If I do it every day and I'm like, holy cow, this is just a lot of consumables. You get into almost 10 to 15 gallons of liquid to do a job, you know. People think, oh, a gallon of paint and, you know, maybe a gallon of primer. No, there's more to it. Everything needs hardener, everything needs reducer, so on and so forth. John from Palm Beach Customs, we hope you enjoyed this post. Like and comment with your thoughts, and I'd love to hear from you. Make it a great day. Thank you.